Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back. If you're new, welcome, welcome. My name is Georgia. So, we're going to do a recap and a review of Love and Marriage Detroit, Season 1, Episode 8, titled Whine Tasting, and wine is spelled Whine. So, we are starting off the episode where, of course, we left off Kristina and Latoya having a talk at the Shut Up and Pray brunch. Kristina does not appreciate being pulled aside at her own event to be confronted by Latoya. Latoya felt that she couldn't hang on to it any longer. She didn't want to take this feeling she had regarding what was said to Brittany, the publicist, by Anthony. So she needed to talk to her about, spreading lies about her husband. So we're at the end where, of course, people in the room could hear what's going on. So Colby said, maybe it's time I walk over there and interrupt. So she does. She goes over and she's like, maybe this is not a good place to do this talk. Maybe we should table it for another day. So again, Kristina, voiced her displeasure about being pulled aside at her own event to be chastised by Latoya. So they're like, all right, we're going to table it and we will discuss it the next time we meet. Yes, we need to have this trip where all the couples go away because there's so many things to talk about. So we all need to be at the table together. So we'll talk about it when we go on the couples trip. Let's just say that exchange at the end between Latoya, Colby, and Kristina, it was tense and it was awkward because it was obvious that people in the room were hearing and seeing what was going on, as she said, in the back of the Shut Up and Pray luncheon. And they're gonna address it later on. So now we get right into the group event. I guess they go around and they look at what people are doing. But the next scene, we start off with the group trip. And, they say it goes down on the Sprinter van. Maybe that's why they didn't get a Sprinter van. They got one of them square buses. And we have the couples. So it's 4 couples. We have Latoya, Anthony, Colby and Russell, Kristina and Brandon. And then we get to meet Bravo's wife. And her name is Lakita. So Latoya let us know that Lakita was at the Shut Up and Pray bruncheon, but we didn't really get to see much of her. So now we're getting to meet her officially, and we know that Bravo is, I believe, Anthony's friend, or is a friend of the group, and he's bringing his wife on the trip. Now they're all going away together. According to Colby, she's like, I really don't know what this trip is about, but I get to eat and we get to go away. Kristina's like, I get a free weekend away from just to get away and to be away from the kids for a little bit. But we all know this is not free. Based on what's happening on this trip, it is a tax deductible trip, and I'll tell you why it's tax deductible for Latoya. So now we are in the van, and the ladies are asking, so what are we going to be doing this weekend? Because we really don't know. We're just told to pack and come. So Latoya was like, well, we're going to go and we're going to do some wine tasting. And we're going to eat and relax. And of course, we're going to have some uncomfortable conversations. But for now, I brought some games and we're going to play some games on the way there. So they're going to the vineyard. I don't know if I remember I'll tell you. They're going to a vineyard. And they brought out this game similar to Taboo, but it's the black version. I've never heard of it, but now we know it. I need to get that game because it sounds like fun. So the game is called Out of Bounds, and they say it's similar to Taboo. And all the questions on the cards are things that are associated with black household or black events. So in the confessional, I believe Anthony's asked why they gotta make a black version of everything. And I like Latoya's answer. She said, because we have to make things that are inclusive to us, that we support, and then let the rest of the world know that we can do everything. Girl, I felt that answer when you said that. I was like, yes, Toya, let him know. So they're playing the game, and it seemed like it was a fun game. So now we get to the event, and we have we get to the place, and we see it's called, I think, Traverse City, and it's a winery. In the confessional, Latoya let us know that she has a meeting. It's a business trip wrapped up in a meeting. So yes, she invited everyone. So it's a group trip. She has a business meeting because remember, she has a wine, or the family has a wine brand. So she is meeting with someone over the weekend to discuss distributing their wine, or putting, doing private labeling and carrying their wine. She's getting a tour of the winery, and she is documenting the event. So that's where it is, where even though this trip might have cost her thousands of dollars, it's going to be tax deductible. And that is the way to do it, girl. A businesswoman knows. So, all right, we get there now. Everybody gets off the bus. They get into the kitchen, and they're like, okay, what's going on? So everybody goes to their rooms now. um, Colby and Russell volunteered to make dinner for the first night. We're touching base with everyone in their rooms. We have Bravo and Lakita talking, and Lakita's telling him, "You didn't know what happened at the brunch." She's like, it got kind of heated at the brunch, so I'm kind of worried as what's gonna happen on this trip, because it wasn't resolved, and I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. We have Anthony and Latoya talking, like, yes, we need to actually have a conversation with the different things that are happening. It needs to be brought and put on the table, what happened with Brittany. And then we have Brandon and Kristina in their room saying that, it's going to be a kind of a shit show weekend, because we feel that we have a target on our backs. So Brandon was like, well, it's going to go down at the winery, so let's let's go. Brandon, he's funny, but he's about it too. So now we come and we are at the dinner table. Like I said, Russell and Colby cook, and everyone is complimenting the meal. Latoya comes on and is like, listen, we're here to have fun, but there are things that need to be addressed. So who wants to start? So Brandon starts, and he apologized to Colby. He said he should not have said what he said when he at the roller skating ring about calling her a Colby cat. And he's like, I sincerely apologize, and I hope you take my apology. So she's like, the apology is appreciated, but the trust is broken, and I don't know if I could trust you again. He said he understands that, the trust will need to be rebuilt, but he truly is apologetic about what was said. Now we get on to Brittany. Brittany, the publicist. I'm not sure how we transitioned into that, but we had Kristina and Anthony going back and forth regarding what Brittany said about pulling the Harrises, Colby, and Russell into it. And Anthony was like, you know what? I'm going to just get Brittany on the phone right now. How about that? And you just see Kristina's whole expression change. Like, did he really? Yes. And of course, Anthony did call Brittany. They put her on speakerphone. They asked her the question, did I say anything about the Harrises not working with you? Because according to Colby, like, I don't even know this lady. Why would my name be in it? So, of course, Brittany reiterated what she said to Kristina at that table when they met. And I remember where Kristina tried to pull Colby and Russell into it, and Brittany was like, no, he never mentioned Colby and Russell. He said specifically, Brandon and Kristina don't mess with you. So again, we had Kristina trying to pull Colby into it, and it was not happening. Brittany cleared it up. And at the end of the dinner, they did go over a little bit more. They talked about it. Brandon also came on the phone and tried to talk to Brittany, but I don't think Brittany was hearing it. Brandon is trying to say he never said anything, but didn't last episode he told Anthony, if that's what was said, then I'm sorry. Something, but even the only thing that got resolved from that phone call with Brittany was that the Harrises, Russell and Colby, were not supposed to be a part of it. Somebody was lying on them, and they left the dinner feeling that nothing was resolved. Of course, after Brandon got his phone call, not Brandon, after Anthony got his phone call through, he was like, I'm out, I'm going to bed. And Russell was like, nah, you're not leaving the table like that. Somebody got to say a prayer. So Russell ended up praying, and that brought a little bit of calm over the table, but it wasn't what everyone was looking for. It was not resolved. And of course, we're going to touch on that again in a little bit. So that was the end of dinner. Everybody went to bed now. Next morning, we're visiting each couple as they're waking up. Everybody is coming out on their balcony or whatever. We first see Kristina and Brandon. Kristina is reading her Bible, the same Bible that Brandon brought to the Brotherhood Bible Study group. That huge Bible. I've never seen a Bible that big. I mean, I have a Bible at home, and like that Bible is double the size of the one I have. So I'm wondering what else is in that Bible. It would be interesting to take a look inside that Bible. I'm gonna Google it because Amazon have everything, right? So I'm sure they sell that. But I'm gonna go and Google it and look at that thick, huge Bible that Kristina has. She reads a word, encourage a word, and she says she's gonna spin it around to make sure that it's applicable to her and her family. We have Brandon comes out the door and his hair is loose. He's asking Kristina to help him make his man bun. She's like, baby, it's time for you to cut that off. He's like, nope, that's how everybody knows me now. Just help me get it together. He's like, it's time you learn to do your own hair. He's like, I don't have that skill set. So we have Kristina. So what was he doing that whole week when he moved back to the house, when they moved into the pen home and they had their fight? What was he doing that whole week? Who was doing his man bun? Maybe that's the reason he came back home. I'm just messing around, guys. So, yes, we touch base with that couple. Then we have Russell and Kobe come out on their patio too. I must say that vineyard is really, really beautiful. So they come out and they're also going over what happened the night before. They also felt that nothing was really resolved. Yes, they talked about it. Yes, we were cleared of any gossip, of any sayings, but at the same time, we still feel the tension between Brandon and Anthony and Latoya and Kristina. So they're like, hopefully by the time this weekend is over, we could get that taken care of and just put this all behind us so we could get moving. Now we're over here in Anthony's and Latoya's room. They're saying the same thing, that they really don't feel anything was resolved. Anthony was saying, well, at least we got Brittany on the phone for her to clear things up. And they're getting ready to leave. So one thing funny that I felt happened was Anthony asked Latoya to put his hairbrush in her pocketbook. And she was like, I'm not your carrier or your assistant. And he said, but you won't let me get an assistant. And she's like, it's not in the budget. Like, oh my gosh. So that was funny. So, okay, now the meeting portion is happening. The meeting portion of the trip is happening where we have Anthony and Latoya go ahead in their own vehicle over to the, I believe the office part, or where they bottle the wine. And the name of the wine is called Chateau Chantal. And they are meeting with the owner and they're going for a tour. So, that's the part that they need to make sure that they document, because, they got to write that off for their taxes. So and of course, it's profiting their business. So they talk about how expensive it will be if they came up with their own winery and bottling company. So that is why they do, I'm guessing, either private labeling, or not drop shipping, because drop shipping would be totally somebody else's brand. So I'm assuming that they're doing private labeling. So private labeling, if you guys know, is where you take somebody else's product and put your label on it and sell it as your own. So they buy it wholesale and sell it retail after they change the stickers or put their own stickers on it and sell it. Similar to what Martel Holt was trying to do with his Ines wine that don't seem to be coming off the ground. I know Marceau and Tisha on Love and Marriage Huntsville did it with chocolate in a bottle. That was a good business plan. I did try their wine. So you know what? I need to go buy a bottle of Opulence wine, because I need to support all my Black businesses. And make sure that I try out their wine, their selection of wine. I actually need to go on their website and check it out. So yeah, that was the meeting between Latoya, Brandon, and the winery company. So what they do now, they're gonna have wine tasting. So they went on ahead, like I said. Now we have the other couples coming along on the sprinter. No, not the sprinter van, on the bus. It's a traveling breakfast. So again, we have Russell make breakfast, and they're complimenting Russell on his food and the way he's cooking. We have Bravo's wife telling Russell that he's outdoing Bravo because he won't do anything like that. Bravo is telling him, yeah, man, I love your food. My stomach loves your food. Now they get back on the discussion about what happened last night. They're telling them that they felt like nothing was resolved. We have Kristina bringing it up to the group that she feels that there's a target on her. It seems like it doesn't seem, she's like, as long as her name is mentioned in any kind of confrontation with anybody, automatically Latoya assumes that she's the bad person no matter what it is. Like, she just has this dark cloud on her anytime it comes to Latoya, and she doesn't understand why. So I think she's going to address it down the line. From the previews that I see, I think she's going to address Latoya with that. Brandon is feeling the same way. He's telling them that at this point, he just got to take Anthony as he is, because it seemed like Anthony does a lot. He doesn't take accountability for what he does and says. She's like, he's still out here calling me a liar when I know I didn't say anything like that. So I'm just going to let him roll with that and make me look like a bad person, which I don't think he should, because if he's not lying, he should stand 10 toes down that he's not. But whenever he says, I'm not lying, we see Anthony get agitated. We see him get upset. We see him get loud. And we don't see Brandon, standing up and meeting that force, which make you think. You always see Brandon just backing down, which always make you think that, yeah, what Anthony is saying is good. So at this point, I'm not sure who to believe, who's lying. And I don't think the group either knows who to believe. They're feeling that the phone call between Brittany and Anthony was kind of a setup, because Anthony knows Brittany for so long. So, of course, he's going to stay by his friend. Brandon and Kristina feels that Anthony is trying to ice them out of the group. And they might just let it happen. From what I'm seeing, they're not going to fight them on it. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what to believe. The group is still a little bit confused. And we're just going to have to keep watching to see how things turn out. Now they get to the winery. Before they get there, we have Latoya and Anthony talking to each other. This is a statement that I feel wasn't necessary, or I think that it makes, they're looking down on their friends as if, I'm up here, you guys are down here. The statement that was made, like, I don't think any of these people have ever been to a winery. Maybe it was the tone that was used. Well, I just felt like, okay, we're better than you. That's the tone I'm getting from it. And then we have Anthony saying, well, some of these people don't even drink wine, so I don't even think they've been to a wine. I'm like, okay, enough is enough. You don't have to double down. She already said it. So why are you guys friends with these people if you don't think much of them? From what from what I'm getting from certain statements and certain ways that they're behaving, why are you friends with them? Okay, so now the group comes, and we have Anthony telling Russell, come bro, come sit next to me. Like, you in elementary school or something? Let them choose where they want to sit. We have Kristina going to confession, and she's like, look at them with their seating arrangements. She's like, that's so childish. She's like, listen, I don't care where I sit, as long as you're feeding me. Sit me next to the food. Like, oh my gosh. So yeah, of course, they weren't sitting next to each other like couples and stuff. So all the guys were sitting on one side, and then we have the ladies on the other side. That's how they split the space. It was outdoors, so you have the background of the vineyard, to enjoy as they're doing the wine tasting. We have the hostess. She comes in, she starts to pour. We have Kristina looking hard at Brandon, and she's like, Brandon, do not drink too much. You know what happened last time you drank. Now we're seeing unseen clips from when we had the launch event for Opulence Wine. We had Brandon getting sloshy drunk. He was drunk. He is using the wine inside the glass as a magnifying glass to look at a piece of paper that he was reading. He was actually passing out. We had Anthony reach across the table and touch him across his face, not slapped him across his face. Let's just say what he did, not touch him on his face, but slapped him and like, yo, what are you doing? Wake up, bro. So now I'm thinking that must have been the event, because before that they were cool. So I think that was the incident that has Anthony looking at Brandon a little bit different. Like, yo, this dude don't have no self-control of how he behaves when he goes in public. He's gonna embarrass me. So I don't know if I want to be friends with him. That's the whole thing I got from that. But yeah, that was part of the deleted scene. And as you know, at that event, he and Kristina had a big blow up on camera. They had a big blow up in the street, and that's when he went back to the old house to stay for a week after he and Kristina had a fight. So are we labeling Brandon a drunk? Shouldn't he have known that, you know, you're on camera, this is gonna go, this is a national show, why are you doing that? So they made sure to show that scene. I'm glad they did, because if they didn't, we would have been out here thinking like, yo, Anthony, why are you treating this man like this? Or, you know, Kristina, why are you telling your husband don't drink so much? So even at the table now at the winery, when she told him that don't drink too much, we have Latoya told him, listen, you have that bucket in front of you. We're doing a wine tasting. You taste the wine, you take a little bit, you swish it around, and you spit. We have Bravo telling the ladies, yo, leave me and my man over here alone. I got him. Don't worry about it. Just do your wine tasting and stuff. So Brandon, you know, he didn't get loud or anything. He just listened to what the ladies have to say, and he did his wine tasting. The man likes his alcohol, so he did his little wine tasting. So we are at the table now. Like I said, they're tasting, they're getting information on the different types of wine. We have Kobe telling Latoya, you know, we don't have too many women of color, too many families of color who is in the wine business or the alcohol business. So it's good to know that you're stepping out there and doing this. And then she's like, I brought my tripod. I could just prop this up right here. We could set up our camera and we could do a little bit of content creation while you're here. It's free. You know, the ambiance is free. The background is free. Let's just get some content going. And then we have Kobe saying in the confessional, she hopes that Latoya will consider working with her in the future. We have Latoya saying she hates social media. And according to Kobe, and as we all know, social media is free. Right here on YouTube, people use YouTube to promote their products, their businesses on a daily basis. We have Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, Facebook, a whole ton of free social media. You just have to put in the work to make sure that you put your product and your brand out there for people to see. So she's like, come on, we're here. Let's do some content creation. They go in the vineyard. She takes some shots of her standing there, you know, posing with the grapes behind her. She told her, touch the grapes a little bit, like, you know, cradle it in your hand so I could get a video of that. And she did that for her and stuff. And they spent a little time getting that done, which was really, really cool. So now the next day we have, they're doing a little fun. I think it's the last day. So they're going to the beach. And we have I think it's a pontoon boat. I don't know my types of boats. I know the word pontoon from the Montgomery, Alabama brawl. I think that's how I recognize the pontoon boat. And we have the ladies going out on the boat, and we have the guys staying on the shore to play some football, because I don't think he could have held everybody, you know. So we have the four ladies going out. We have Kristina come in a confessional and say she's definitely, or she specifically sat next to Latoya to let Latoya know I don't have no problem with her and stuff like that. So they went out on the boat, and you know, they're enjoying the scenery, and then we're flipping back and forth between the boat and on land. So we have the guys throwing the football, and they were like, you know what's coming up? No, they were like, yeah, we have the showcase coming up. So Anthony now blurts out and tells Brandon, you know, I have Lyrique working with us. It's just like somebody threw a bucket of cold water on Brandon. Brandon's whole demeanor was just, look, defeated. He's like, first of all, he goes in a confession and he's like, first of all, I think this man is trying to sabotage me. Because first of all, he invites a DJ that I don't get along, DJ Mix. He's like, it's supposed to be my showcase. There's 25 slots for artists, and he's allowing me only 3 slots for my artists that I need to bring in. And now you're telling me that you're bringing in Lyrique. And then he tells Anthony, he's like, you know, that Lyrique and I don't have a good relationship because he's always poaching my clients. So Anthony says, you know, I didn't even know that. But this showcase needs to happen. Everybody's doing their part. And we just need to move forward. He's like, I need Lyrique there. And I'm not going to take him out. He's like, listen to this. We have Bravo, who is supplying the event space, the venue. So I'm allowing him to take the bar, which means he's take the profits from the bar. I have, I think, who else he says? He said something about, I think the DJ Mix taking the door, whatever they're bringing at the door. And then I'm here actually doing the whole event, which is money out of my pocket. He's like, I'm not even taking a profit from this, but we need to actually get this done so we could get the attention and the limelight and just have something going so all us men together could come together in Detroit and move forward and work together. He's like, I'm not taking Lyrique out of the showcase because I need him there. Then he was like, bro, there's no hate for me. He's like, why do you hate me so much? Or something to that we have Brandon saying. And Anthony was like, I don't hate you. I don't have no hate for you, but we have to get things moving. And we have Brandon getting in a confessional and saying that he don't know what he's done to Anthony, but lately he realized that Anthony, whatever he's doing, he just seemed like he keeps stabbing him in the back and stuff like that. We have Brandon doing a little blow up and saying a speech, and then he looks to Russell, and then he looks to Bravo for some support, and both of them just standing there. And that's where the episode ended. So yes, we still have we still have Anthony and Brandon going at it. I don't know what's gonna come of those two. We saw a preview for the next episode where we have Brandon having a talk with Kristina, and he's saying, do you feel the same way I do? Like, you have a target on your back from Latoya, and I have a target on my back from Anthony. Am I tripping, or are you feeling the same way? She's like, no, I don't think you're tripping because it is happening. So yeah, I don't know how this winery weekend is going to end because, like I said, it ended with them right there on the shore. They're still talking. I don't know if it's going to get louder, if it's going to blow up even more. But at this point, Brandon and Kristina feels that Anthony and Latoya are trying to ice them out of the group. So that's where we are with it. The thing with Brittany is still kind of shady because the other couples are feeling that Brittany lied on that phone call just because she's friends with Anthony. And we got to see how the showcase pans out. I don't think that Brandon should back out of the showcase because he initially came up with the idea to feature all these people. So I'm assuming that he's not putting any money in it, and that's why he's been treated the way he's been treated. So we'll see what happens on the next episode. But yeah, that is my recap and my review of Love and Marriage Detroit Season 1, Episode 8, titled Whine Tasting. Brandon said he has a bull's eye on his back. That's what he says. He has a bull's eye on his back, and we have Anthony coming for him. He said they're dueling families. And Russell says in order for them to be good again, they have to re-establish trust. Like this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up this video. Share this video if you wish. And until next time, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.